What's up, everyone? Welcome to a True Underground Story podcast. Today I'm with Star Dior. Now, did you just recently change your name to Star Eloir?
I did.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So, she recently changed her name to Star Eloir. You have a great voice. I'll lead off by saying that. You have a
Thank you.
So,
I appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I am from Dayton, Ohio. I lived in Tampa, Florida, Clearwater for like 7 years when I was young, and then my mom moved back down here. So I pretty much been raised here, though.
What was your childhood like in Dayton and then also in Tampa and the Clearwater area?
Clearwater was rough. My mom had 6 kids at the time, so it was I know she was getting to it. But it was rough, just adapting to Florida versus being in Dayton. I could say it was like a huge change. We kind of went from like staying in the projects to going to like the suburbs. So it kind of was like our lingo was different. The way we talk was different. And then when we started staying down there, we started picking up the word soda instead of saying pop. When we first came down there, we were saying pop. But down there, they say soda. They don't say pop.
Yeah.
So other than that, I mean, it was cool. We had our little rough times, but she pushed through. My mama's a strong woman, though.
What ages were you down there in Florida?
From, I say, 5 to probably like 12.
And then you moved back up to the Dayton area when you were about 12. So what were your teenage years like living in Dayton? Because every time I ask an artist from Dayton, I get a different response.
I was bad. I ain't gonna lie. I used to fight a lot. I used to drink a lot. My first drink was Four Locos. I'm going to blame it on Four Locos because that was like, Four Locos was just pre-gaming. And then you went to the hard liquor. So I was like mixing a whole bunch of liquor at the age of like 16. I was sneaking and drinking. And I got caught because I came home one time and I had a hangover and I threw up. And then I went to sleep. So I forgot to clean up the throw up. My mom caught me. So it was like, shit. But I was bad, though. I was good, but bad. I was like a party girl, but I was like a good friend, good in school. But like outside of that, I was trouble.
So we kind of touched on it a little bit during the intro. You used to go by Star Dior, and now you're Star Eloir.
Yes.
How did you come up with both of those names?
Star Dior was just something. I love Dior, first and foremost. So I wanted my last name to be that. But I looked it up, and it's so many Star Diors. Musically, it's like 50 Star Diors. So I had told my fiance, like, I don't want to be Star Dior no more. So he was like, how about put Eloir instead of Dior? So then that's how we came up with Eloir.
When did you start like actually making music? Because I know you've released music yourself that aren't just like acoustic cover mashups. You have your own original songs out there.
Yeah.
When did you start making music?
I started writing music at 7. Like, I'm huge with writing music, and I guess when I started writing, like, I can go in the studio and like freestyle something. Everybody think it's written, but I just like to vibe to the beat and just kind of go from there. But I really started writing at 7. Like, my grandfather was huge in music. Like, he toured with like Natalie Cole, Earth, Wind and Fire. So when he got off the road, because my grandmother got pregnant with my mom, he kind of like was a Michael Jackson's dad to us. He would wake us up in the middle of our sleep to make sure we sing. So I say, like, I have to thank him for that, because sometimes it was a headache, but sometimes it was like, I thank him today for that, because them long nights used to come in drunk and make us get up at like 5 in the morning singing. It kind of like helped me now to this day. So I started at 7. I started writing at 7. I actually started singing probably like at 11. But I used to not sing because I thought my voice was weird. Like, some people would be like, you sound country or you sound this. So I try to sing like Fantasia or something. Like, okay, let me sing like the typical black girl. So everybody be like, okay. But I used to hide my voice a lot. And then I end up was like, you know what? When I first heard Adele, that's when I was like, all right, so it's okay to have a unique voice. And that's how I started singing.
What was some of the music that you kind of like grew up listening to? Because, like you said, your grandfather, he toured with Earth, Wind, and Fire, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of legends in the music industry. What
Mm-hmm.
was that like? All the music you grew up listening to, or did you find yourself like seeking out like newer age music as you got older?
See, my grandfather, I would say all the old school, Natalie Cole, Smokey Robinson, um, just all the old genres. But my mom, Lil Kim, Tupac, Little Kim, Tupac, Lauryn Hill. I'm a huge fan of Lauryn Hill. Um, I like Little Kim's attitude. I used to love
Right.
how her attitude and her delivery was, and she was like a huge boss woman at the time when I was young. So she the first one that made me be like, okay, I want to be like that, as far as being a boss. And I like how she carried herself around a whole bunch of men. It was like she was the queen, and then she had all these men around her. Tupac always and still will be a fan of his. Um, like I said, Lauryn Hill, Escape, basically all the 90 babies. And I still like R. Kelly music. I'm sorry to say. He still got bangers, even though he did some fucked up shit. But I still like R. Kelly music.
I feel like with that whole like, because it's kind of like the MJ thing, whether he did the stuff that he's been accused of or not. You have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of like find a way to separate them as a person from their
Yes.
work, from their music.
Like it just I think it takes what your memory was off his music. You know what I mean? Versus probably what he was thinking about when he was creating. Like I had fun off R. Kelly's music. So to me, I got memories with certain songs and stuff that he has. So I mean it's fucked up what he did, but I still be playing bump and grind every now.
Um, so when you like dove into making music
Mm-hmm.
and decided you were going to do it professionally, what did your friends and your family think? Because it's typically like frowned upon to chase being a musician in today's day and age.
I would say I had more friend support than my family because I feel like my grandfather, when he had to stop music, my family loved music, but none of them never really pursued music, if that makes sense. It kind of was like a far-fetched dream. So when I first started out, I had support, but not like support when it comes to my friends or strangers. Like I learned strangers kind of support you more than I think most of the people that's close to you.
I
So
agree.
I I surrounded myself by people who love music, just different musicians. Um, Family wise, it just kind of depends. And they'll come to a show, but far as like real live supporting your music, I don't think it was that. I think I more so got that support from friends and strangers. So it was kind of rough.
Um, Now, aside from music, obviously you're a podcast host yourself. You have Pillow Talk. How did you come about wanting to create that podcast and start it?
I'm gonna be honest. So I went and tried out for America Got Talent, and I made it. So they sent me like the number and a ticket to fly out. So when I was about to fly out, my father passed, like the same day I was supposed to fly out. So everyone still kept telling me to go, but I'm like, how am I supposed to sing when I literally just found that out? Like my brother was blowing my phone up, but I'm thinking it's just, just want to conversate. So when my father had passed, it kind of was like, I don't want to do music no more. You know what I mean? My father was
Yeah.
super excited, like, you need to go. Like the day before, he's like, I'm so happy for you. And we had like a long, probably like an hour or two conversation. And then that next morning when I was supposed to go, everyone was blowing my phone up. And I'm thinking it's because I'm about to fly out and they trying to congratulate me. But it was like a whole different turnaround. So when I didn't go, like weeks on, I kind of was like, I should have did it because I know that that's what he would want me to do. But I kind of like when I get depressed, I drown myself in work. Like, so I was like, I need to put my hands on something. Like, I need to do something. And I end up doing a podcast. I started off doing a podcast with one of my friends, Chloe. We started off doing it together. And then I was like, okay, let me take this serious. And that's when I ended up coming up with Pillow Talk with Star. So it's just kind of like I had to find something to do, like to get out of my depression. And I think that once I found that and I started hearing other people's stories and other people's struggles, I was like, dang, like if they can do it and get over it and they don't been through worse, then I kind of can do the same thing. So that's how I ended up coming into podcasting.
Yeah, because you've done. I know you recently also. Did you ever retrieve your YouTube channel? Because I know that you had lost like the password to it.
No, and I've been like, I can't call Google. Google don't have no phone number. I be want to just cry. That's what really made me kind of be like, I'm done. Because I almost had 1,000 subscribers. I was up to like 900 or something. And then I'm like, okay, but what happened is I had my stuff on a tablet and somebody stole my tablet. So I always treat my tablet like my phone. So I'm like, ain't nobody gonna steal this. But they did. And when they did it, they changed my password to stuff. Like everything was completely changing. I don't know how to get it back. And the old number that's on there, I don't have that phone no more. Because that's how long I had that account. So I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Very understandable reason to be salty because I know
Do
that.
Google got a number?
Possibly.
Possibly. I need help. I'll pay somebody to help me get my account back. I need it.
I guess it would be Google support.
Google support ain't shit. They don't help me with nothing. And what's a backup code? Look, we up here about to switch the whole podcast. How you get your account back? I don't even know what a backup code is. Like, how am I supposed to keep a backup code from like 3-4 years?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I don't blame you one bit.
I was about to throw my whole phone.
So, not only are you podcast host, you're also just a businesswoman in general. You have a modeling agency that you run, Kray Models.
Kray for Models.
How did you come up? What made you decide you wanted to start that venture?
I got two models. I got Taste the Curves and I got Kray for Models. Taste the Curve is more plus size women. Kray for Models is more fun, young, having a good time. So I decided to come up with that because with me being like around a whole bunch of music people and things like that, and just including myself, it was just kind of like when you on set, it get very dangerous. It get very, like if you coming somewhere by yourself or something, it's very uncomfortable. So I'm like, well, how about I start something where women can still do that and have fun and make their money, but everything is in a safe way. Like everything is in a safe professional thing. Like everyone can have fun and stuff on set. It don't go too far. So I've seen a lot of women, especially younger women, that like to have fun and turn up. So I was like, let me create something where they still can do that and it's more in a professional way. Even when it comes to hosting events and doing things like that, just the business itself, you can get ripped off. You know, it's like so much stuff that can happen. So I wanted to bring the girls in and kind of let them have fun, but still be professional and carry themselves in a professional way. So that's how I ended up starting Kray for Models. And then my fiance, he had this book and his goal book where he kind of wanted like something where it was a lot of women, of course. But I was like, let me try to put what his idea is and his brand and put what my idea is and bring it together. And that's how we came up from Kray for Models. So a lot of videographer will contact them because they need music video girls or things like that. So they'll just contact me and then my girls will go do what they supposed to do. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. So you brought up events and stuff. You've hosted events. I guess it wasn't too recent, but last year you hosted an event with Toosie.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Crazy. Sometimes I think it's, I don't know. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be nice. Sometimes I think when you carry yourself a certain way on social media that you can get booked for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, especially if you don't have a team. Um, so I think it was kind of like that experience with the guy that they had me hosting with. We already had encounters where he was like on some crazy stuff, like stalking stuff. And I think that my safety when it came to that, like I would do the show, but it's like my safety when it comes to that area was not, it wasn't like, they wasn't knocking down on that part. So basically my team told me like, don't do it. So unfortunately I was like sad, but it was just kind of like my safety come first. And I think
Yeah.
like when you putting yourself out a certain way, I think people need to look at sexual content or any type of sex appeal when it comes to a woman nowadays. It's like you gotta, you can't really pick and choose how people see you. So it's kind of like you gotta do what you do, and then when they meet you in person, they like, she ain't nothing like how I thought she was. Because in real life, I'm like a tomboy. Like I'm chill, jogging pants, all that. But like in front of the camera, it's almost like a business. Like when you step out, they're gonna know you from podcasting and everything. But when you at home, you just yourself. So I think like it's just learning or just trying to teach people to learn to separate when I'm on set versus when I'm just being regular and going to Kroger's, going grocery shopping.
Okay. I got you. So, what artists would you say that kind of influenced your style of music?
I would definitely say Adele. I love Adele. Of course, Beyonce, which that's a typical answer for all of us. But Beyonce, Adele, um, who else? I would pretty much say, oh, Jasmine Sullivan. I love Jasmine Sullivan too. That type of music. And I like pop music too. So I'm gonna say Rihanna, American Rejects. I like a whole bunch of people. I like all different type of genres of music.
When you're in the podcasting game, it's good to be open to different
All
lanes.
type of music.
Um, Now we can scrub this if something didn't fall through. But recently, you had posted that you were in the works of making your own adult magazine.
Hey.
How's that going, and what made you decide that you want to do?
I always like Playboy. I like how tasteful he keep and I like how tasteful he keep his material. I see a lot of girls doing OnlyFans. I see just OnlyFans going up, period. So I just wanted to bring back like a urban Playboy. And I feel like if it's done tastefully, which a lot of people honestly sent me like printouts of their photos, and they was amazing, especially the photographers that did it. And I kind of just wanted to spice the city up a little bit. Like I feel like dating can be like a mini Hollywood, kind of, if everybody just kind of put their ideas out there and stop being scared. Because when I put that idea out there, people you think would not do that magazine actually wanted to do that magazine. So that's still in the works. We trying to get the printout and stuff together. We trying to get everything organized. We got everybody's pictures and stuff, and they interview questions. And it's basically like, to me, sex conversations are fun, depending on like who kind of enjoy them, which I think everybody enjoys sex conversations. Like a mature mind enjoys sex conversations. So I just wanted to like get some people that I know people want to be like, instead of fantasizing about what they probably like, they're going to actually tell you what they like. And I thought that would be neat.
That's a great idea. I mean,
yeah.
I think you'll have a lot of success with that, in all honesty.
Yes, it's a lot of people waiting for the magazine to come out too. So that's a good thing.
Now you recently competed in Battle of the Pen.
Yeah, that's my TV show that I keep running into like a blocking point because I'm trying to find a good camera person that's available for each episode. So I know that some people probably know me for doing Cyphers. I wanted to switch it up and let the songwriters actually have a platform. So it's kind of like I want songwriters to come together, pick 3 beats, an old school beat. It's like different categories, an old school beat, whatever type of beat, and they write to it. Because I think a lot of it help artists look for songwriters too. I mean, not everybody know they don't write their music, but it gives a platform for the people that's behind the scenes, the writers, to come forward and show their writing skills. So that's
I
still
think
like in the works, but it's just because we're trying to get the scheduling right for everything.
that's a really dope concept and a good way to, like you were saying, like just boost somebody that doesn't rap or sing themselves but can write a
Can
song.
write yes. That's what I love. I feel like they make the stars, honestly. Like the
Oh
stars
yeah,
do good with performing, but I mean the song evidently makes the stars. So it's kind of like they need their platform to shine too. So I feel like that was a good idea.
yeah. If you look at like any major pop star and you go to any of the writing credits on their songs, they might be listed sometimes and sometimes they're not. But there's a
That'd be so
list of
tiny.
there's just a list of different people that had their hands in making that one hit song. I feel
Yeah.
like in hip hop, it's frowned upon to have writers, and I understand that. Like I know
But I don't
Big
understand
Sean,
why. It's all in the music business though. Like
right?
I don't understand that. Like Cardi B's writer, he making her hits like back to
Yeah.
back. Like so I wouldn't honestly care as long as it's bringing in the money.
Like for instance, I know recently I had a discussion with somebody. I like Big Sean a lot, and
Yeah.
somebody had said, "Yeah, I like him too." I found out he doesn't write a lot of his own music, and then looking into it further, he does,
Hmm.
but the songs that are more poppy or have like a well thought out chorus to it, he
Right.
had other people write that for him
Right.
because the conversation I had with that guy, another guy about it, Big Sean doesn't think of just hip hop. He thinks in music in general. So for
Right.
him to go against a pop star, that's if he did it by himself, that would be him versus a team of 20 writers.
Right.
So
Right.
it's not a fair balance. So that's why when he puts his albums out, he's got these songs that he does have other writers come in and help him to where
Right.
those songs can compete against an artist that has a bunch of writers.
Right. And I think the biggest thing is as long as I think even like if I was to blow, if I like want to do a certain song, but that ain't kind of my lane, but I want to do it, I'm probably going to call a writer that's familiar with that lane to help me. So I think if people think more business and not so much small minded like that, then I feel like they understand more.
It's an ego thing in hip
Yeah.
hop, is what it boils down to. Um, so you also are good friends with G, the producer, and Cool It and You, and you actually were featured in a video they did where
Hmm.
you would send in a song for a track review. How because I know you work with G, the producer, a lot. How did you guys all end up being intertwined and getting together to work together so often?
Honestly, I was looking for a studio. I went to school with Ron, Cooler Than You, but I was looking for a studio and everyone kept tagging their name. So I'm like, okay, let me go. And they were saying, like, if you're looking for professionalism, then go there. And I went. Not only did the environment made me want to stay there, it was G is not the type of engineer that'll just take your money and be like gone. He really is like passionate about music. Like whether if you in the studio with him or not, he's going to be in the studio just because he's passionate about music. And I think that was an amazing thing to have part of like a team. So when I went, I just been going there ever since. Like I love they drive together. I love how they work together. I love his honesty. I just love like everything that he basically do for his brand and his company. And when you see somebody that take their brand serious, it's easy to work with them because they understand. Like a lot of people got brands, but they don't take it as serious. So if I see you take your brand serious, that's somebody I definitely want to be around.
Um, so speaking of like being around and like working with people, if you could, I'm gonna give you a list of 3 here. Who would be a producer that you would hope to get to work with as a musician?
Uh, DJ Khaled. Is it Khaled or Cali?
Khaled.
Khaled
Yeah, there's a
or
D.
DJ. First of all, you ain't gonna want to work with me if I can't get his name right. DJ Khaled. Pharrell. I like Pharrell.
He's a great producer.
What is his name? Zaytoven?
Zaytoven.
Yes, and him. I like them.
Who would be a rapper that you would like to work with? If money wasn't an object and you could pay the feature cost or whatever.
One or like three?
Give me three.
Okay. Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and see, I like Nicki and I like Cardi, so that's hard. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'll leave that one alone. I'm gonna say I'm gonna have to go with Megan.
Megan?
Yeah, I love Megan. I love her energy.
She always brings the energy. That's definitely something nobody can ever say about her. She's very energetic.
Yes, I love her performance and everything. So I would definitely work with her.
If you could give me three singers you could work with, who would they be?
Shit. Beyonce, of course.
Anything she touches gold, so.
Yeah. Jessie J. I
That's
love Jessie J.
That's the name right there.
He not a singer. I don't know what he is. Marshmallow Man.
Oh, Marshmallow, he's a DJ.
Okay, well he top. I definitely want to work with him. Oh, Adam Levine.
Adam Levine.
Yes.
Good old Maroon 5.
Yes.
As an artist,
Adam Levine. Huh?
As an artist, and a businesswoman in general, what's been the hardest thing for you to have to overcome in like the music industry?
I would say not knowing how to balance my music lane versus pillow talk versus the models, because I always hear you have to focus on one thing. So it get overwhelming sometimes. And then of course sex appeal sells. So it's like always have to be and watch your image, and kind of like when you go through things, you gotta kind of either put it through music or suck it up. Because when it's time to work, it's just time to work. Which I understand that comes with the business, but sometimes you don't have time to. I think I don't have time all the time to Musa. It's kind of like when I'm done with business, music, I have to go to the models, and then I have to go to Pillow Talk, and then I have to go to that. So I would just say the hardest part of music is just always trying to stay part of the trend, because that's real important. Like you always got to stay irrelevant, or it's just like you're gonna start going, wah, wah. So I feel like, and I feel like social media plays a huge part in that too. And it's like, as much as you don't want to look at things like competitional, it's kind of like, it's hard not to. You can look at it as friendly competition, but it's hard not to when it's just so many people now want to do, I ain't gonna say now, but it's so many people doing music. So sometimes you battle like, am I really gonna make it? Is this, gonna happen for me? Because you see so much good talent, and it's hard to keep that focus, because you like, okay, it's like 10 other people or 10 million other people that's probably way better in music or things like that. So it's just kind of like, and me and my brothers, we be talking, they always get on that Illuminati conversation. So it's like, hey, y'all trying to scare me or y'all trying to motivate me? So it'd be like, hey, they like, look, sis, they doing it. I'm like, man, come on. Like, I be wanting to just be chill, but that do play a part with everybody in they, I ain't gonna say it's not real, but it's just kind of like I cross that path when I get there type thing. So I would say that's it. The criticism.
That's, yeah. What would you say has probably been the most rewarding?
Seeing actual fan base. Like when I go out and people like actually, like I was doing a music video with G and my fiance, and this lady literally had goosebumps because she's like, I seen you singing and da 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 da, and I don't know how to react to stuff like that, so I'll be kind of like, I guess, stiff, because I'll be like, okay. But they kind of like, it make me feel good that like my music helps some people, and that some people was like extremely happy that I'm getting back to music because I stopped for a while. So it's like, well, I didn't think you was never gonna come back to music. And my fiance, he's been in the industry, like literally just got touched back down and dating last year. So he came back to motivate me. And sometimes that causes us to clash because when he wanted me to do music, I wasn't ready. Just by the fear and just having to do that all over again. But I'm glad that I did because it's so many people that's reaching out and letting me know, like they're glad that I'm actually coming back to music. So that's a good feeling.
With your fiance, Hector, he's got his own, I'm not quite sure what it is, Kray Tunes?
Yeah.
What exactly is Kray Tunes?
Kray Tunes is like, I would say more like it's everything. It's modeling, it's TV shows, it's a clothing brand. It's kind of like his own brand, like his own station. Like you can find like comedian work on there, and then he has another brand called Cool to Be Smart, and that's when him working with the youth. So he interviewed kids and just asked them like questions and teach them on how to make smart decisions. And Kray Tunes is more for the adults. It's more so like fun comedy, uh, clothing. I mean, it's kind of like everything for real.
Now, you're also a photographer. You do photo shoots.
Mm-hmm.
What made you get into photography?
Honestly, I didn't always have the money to shoot with photographers. So it was kind of like I started to pick up shooting myself first. And then it was like, I'm not going to lie, I ain't like waiting to get my pictures back. So I was like, I know them pictures fire. I want them back now. But I had to wait. So I'm like, I don't want to wait. So I started picking up the camera and I started shooting my friends. And they was like, you should do photography. And I'm like, I'm not doing, this ain't what I was trying to get into. But they end up posting the pictures, and then I start having people hit me up to shoot their content photos for their social media and things like that. So I was like, okay, why not? And I kind of just got into it that way. But it really was just supposed to be for me. But then everybody seen the pictures and the work, and they like, can you shoot me? So I just kind of made it like a brand as well.
Now, with all this that you've got going on, how do you find time to balance all these different ventures you've got and being a mother yourself?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not gonna lie, I get depressed sometimes because I'm not, maybe because I'm Aquarius, and Aquarius are hard-headed. Like, we gonna do what we want to do sometimes. So, I'm trying to find a balance, and I don't like to start projects and then drop them. So it's kind of like, okay, well, don't start a project. If something comes to my mind, I'm going to do it the next day. And then next thing I know, I done got myself in a situation. And I can't back out because so many people, like, done got involved. They're like, this is a good idea. And then it's just kind of like, all right, let's kind of go for it. But I try to, like, find meditation in that. And I ain't going to lie, since when I had lost my twins, them businesses helped me. I'm not going to say the business itself, but just being around people, it helped me like cope. I'm not the type of person that can sit around and not do nothing because I get depressed. So
right,
some people can only
which wouldn't be good with everything that you already were dealing with. That wouldn't have been good for you.
Yeah, so I'm like, I can't sit still. I don't like to sit still. Like, and some of my closest people be like, you overwork yourself out of depression. But I just feel like I don't want to sit myself in depression. So I'd rather overwork myself than to just sit there and just trying to like stick to one thing. I'm not a person that likes to stick to one thing. Like, if everything working, I'm not sticking to one thing type thing. So I'm still learning.
We all are.
I'm still learning.
Okay. Got a quick break here. I got a quick game I'm going to play with you called This or That.
Okay.
I'll present 2 artists to you, and you'll tell me which one you're going to listen to.
All right.
Tory Lanez or Chris Brown?
Ah, damn. Ah. Shit. Hold on. Ah. I'm going to say, I'm going to say Chris Brown.
Bruno Mars or The Weeknd?
Shit. Who gave you these damn questions? This is like not fun. The Weeknd.
Erykah Badu or Lauryn Hill?
Lauryn Hill.
You know what? That is the fastest response I've ever got to that one. That one trips people up. You committed. Stevie Wonder or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Music Soul Child or Drew Hill?
Drew Hill.
DMX or Jadakiss?
Damn. DMX.
Jay-Z or Nas?
That's not fair. Jay-Z, because I like Jay-Z lyrical. I like his flow.
Tupac or Biggie?
Damn. Tupac.
Keith Sweat or Luther Vandross?
Keith Sweat.
I'm not even going to give you that one because I don't want to put you in that spot. So we'll
What?
skip to the next one. It was Cardi B or Nicki Minaj.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that one. I'm going to have to pass.
XX Tentacion or Juice WRLD?
XX.
Kevin Gates or Joyner Lucas?
Fuck. Jonas Lucas.
Doja Cat or Saweetie?
I don't like neither one of them, to be honest. I'm going to say Sweetie.
Lotto or Meg the Stallion?
Hey. Lotto.
Lupe Fiasco or Wale?
Wale.
Wiz Khalifa or Young Thug?
Damn. Look, I had to dance on that one. Young Thug.
Nelly or Akon?
Akon.
Outkast or Wu-Tang?
Wu-Tang.
Eminem or The Game?
The Game.
E40 or Twista?
Tell me when to go. E40.
21 Savage or Kodak Black?
Kodak Black.
Mobb Deep or UGK?
Mobb Deep.
Lil Wayne or Drake?
Lil Wayne.
Gucci Mane or Jeezy?
Fuck. I don't like the new Gucci, so I'm going to go with Jeezy.
Young Dolph or Nipsey Hussle?
Nipsey.
Young M.A. or Cupcake?
Young M.A. Who Cupcake?
She's very sexual female rapper.
Oh, I'm not going to listen to her.
She's pretty fire.
Okay.
T.I. or Ludacris?
T.I.
Lil Durk or Lil Baby?
Oh. Lil Baby.
Eloir or Iggy Azalea?
Corey Lorray.
Kalani or Summer Walker?
Summer Walker.
Look, you got through it.
Oh, that was hard though.
So you were saying earlier that you started doing a music video. When do you think you're gonna be dropping the new music video?
Probably like, when would you say I'll drop a new video? Couple weeks.
Couple weeks. Now,
Yeah.
is that gonna be an original song, or are you doing another like acoustic mashup?
No, this is the original.
This is original?
Yeah, it's fire. I had got a whole bunch of women, different cultures, different races, and we had shot their B-rolls and stuff that day that I was doing the video. So it was fun. It was such a good time too.
Something else we kind of glossed over earlier. You had brought up the ciphers that you've done. What made you decide to want to get into doing ciphers? Because you've done quite a couple of them.
Because everybody kept telling me I couldn't. Everybody kept. I'm just being honest. Everybody kept telling. I'm a huge fan of battle rap, but when I tried to do the battle rap, it was people I think was more fearful to lose than to actually just put themselves out there. So I'm like, okay, what's the next thing that I can do? And it was the ciphers. And then a lot of people was like, well, you can't do, I don't think nobody gonna do no ciphers. And I end up having Cincinnati, Cleveland, everybody try out for the ciphers. So we end up doing that, and it just continue. I mean, some people who's asked me to bring the ciphers back, which the last one was supposed to be in Atlanta. And I'm thinking about bringing it back. I just have to figure out like the time, because I still want to do the pin game. So I'm definitely gonna bring back another cipher. This is gonna be like the 6th or 7th one, but they all did amazing. So I thank everybody for their support with that too.
Yeah. So the last one you uploaded was 9 months ago, which featured Tree.
Yep.
That's the first time that you got to meet Tree.
Yes, and we've been cool ever since. I love her personality.
Yeah,
that's my girl.
As an artist, what would you say is more important to you on Spotify, your monthly listeners or the amount of users that follow your Spotify account?
I would say follow, because that lets me know that they're really interested in my music. Listeners, I feel like I still appreciate them, but the following just shows me like, okay, they ready to know the next project or the next single. So I would take followers a lot more than I think listeners.
Now, how many tracks would you say you're sitting on since you're about to release a single and you've been going back in the studio on your Instagram? You've been at Elite Media multiple times. How many tracks you sitting on?
Probably like a good 10. Because I make all different types though. So it's like, we trying to figure out which ones I guess to put out. And I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I'll be going to the studio and I just don't be in the mood. So I'll be like, and that's because I just got finished doing everything else. So I'm trying to get out of that. But I'll say like 10 right now.
What would you say would be your idea of making it in the music industry?
I would say when I'm financially stable. Or like if I can go in Atlanta or Tampa or New York and my name is being known. Because I think a lot of people, like here in the city, there's a difference between local fame versus if you step outside the city and then nobody know who you are. I think when you step outside the city and people know who you are is when you know you getting close to get into where you want to go. So if I go to Atlanta and nobody knows, sorry, Lord, then it's like I still got work to do, if that makes sense. So I say that's when I know that's when I hit it.
What would be some advice you would give to younger you or just a younger person in general that wants to pursue the music industry?
I always tell people or different artists that I talk to, um, it's really just about doing it. I think if you let a lot of people get in your ear, it'll stop you. If you let, when I look at people like, no offense, when I look at people like Lizzo or Post Malone, um, image to me is not a, it's not as big as it used to be in the music industry as it is now. So I know a lot of female artists, including myself, was like, well, wait till I get my body done or wait till I get this done, then I get in front of the camera. You kind of just got to do it now, and you got to let your fan base grow with you. Because nobody want to start with somebody with a finished product. They want to grow with you. They want to be like, well, I was following Star when she was here, and then now she here. They want to see that elevation in the artist. So a lot of people think like, I got to have a manager. You don't really need a manager if you have nothing to manage. And some artists that I meet with will be looking at me like, but you really don't. Like if your phone and stuff is not blowing up and it's like hard for you to really, you know, pick your phone up without it blowing up, you really don't need a manager. It's just kind of like put your idea out there, put your brand out there, put yourself out there and just kind of like do it and stop hesitating. So I know some people be like, well, my friend do music and I want to do music, but I don't want my friend to think I'm copying off of them. That's just not a good mind to have. Like if you love music and they love music, just do music. Period. Point blank.
So let me get inside your brain here. When you're having a down and out day, what's that comfort food for you?
Seafood.
Seafood?
I love seafood. And I love eating brownies watching Shark Tank.
Shark Tank's part. I was gonna ask what you watched as a go-to when you're down.
I
Shark
love
Tank, what you
Shark
watch?
Tank. That's my favorite show.
What's your go-to movie of choice?
I'ma say I like anything with Mark Wahl. Is it Wahlberg?
Yeah, Wahlberg.
Yes. Mark, yeah, anything with him, I'm cool. He done made my whole day.
So you're a pretty predominant figure in your community. What's some change you would like to see in your community?
I would say more so, um, working together. I feel like everybody in the city is kind of like if I did it first, if I did it, you can't do it type attitude. And I don't feel like everybody comes together when it comes to like dating can be Atlanta for real. But I think it's always that one artist that like I want my foot in the door and the rest of y'all gotta wait. Everybody trying to be that first artist to make it out of a dating instead of being like we all gonna come together and just give dating a name where people can draw attention here. And I think that people are so stuck on locally being known. And they think when they locally known that, oh, I got somewhere. And in reality, you ain't getting nowhere. You just like known in the city. But if you take that energy, I done seen people go to Atlanta and come back because they like, I don't want to do that much work. Like I'm basically known in my city and I'm okay with that. And it's like, no. And when they go outside the city, they see like my name ain't as buzzing as I thought it was. So I just think that people need to get better with their Hollywood attitude. It's a lot. And that's why even when I meet people, they be like, she cool. I ain't went nowhere. Like I'm in the same boat as everybody else. Like you can physically touch me with no security, no nothing. So it's like people just got to be more humble. And I think some people, when they make us get a certain amount of views or a certain amount of followers, that they just get this Hollywood, and it's just kind of like that's what bring dating down because once they think they Hollywood, then they not willing to help nobody.
I've had this discussion with people before. Like I've interviewed a guy up in Toronto, Canada, and during our interview, there was just a bunch of like Toronto artists that tuned in during the live stream and were like hyping him up throughout the entire interview. And I'll notice like when I do a date an artist, there'll be a couple artists that'll come in, but it's usually the artists that are in his inner circle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like artists outside of it. And I even told him that I've never seen like that kind of support, and he said, "Yeah, in Toronto, like we all support each other. Like,
yeah,
if we've got a show, all the other artists they show up to that show to support."
You know what Dayton do? Dayton will they will watch they'll see us on live right now, and you would get off, and that's when they go back and watch it. I done seen so many people do that, and I feel like if people act like that, then you already know. People know you good and won't say nothing because they gotta. I just spoke on this a couple of days ago. They think that if they tell you good or like your podcast is fire, that's gonna put the fire in you to become better than them, and that's why a lot of people won't tell other people like, I see the potential, or they might not even give you advice like, I feel like your podcast good, but if you do this. They scared to give that advice out of fear. I don't want him doing better than me. And I think that's so stupid. I do not understand. I have people who be like, can you help me start a podcast? Can you help me? Can you look at I have so many people and I'll look at their stuff like, okay, you doing good, this, and that. And then I have people around me be like, why did you tell them that? Or why are you, but it's just like, I just feel like what God got for you, he got for you. And you shouldn't live in fear like that somebody else is going. And if they do go, soar before you, then you should be right there clapping your hands. You shouldn't be there like, I'm mad, I got an attitude type energy. I don't like people like that. Because them people going to remember the people that helped them. Always.
I always like trying, like when I'm talking to like the younger 20-something-year-old artists that are like kind of getting new to the music industry, and especially in the Dayton scene, I tell them like you need to be careful with like who you're putting in your inner circle. Is it cool that you got a group of 10 friends that are going to tell you everything you make is fire?
Right.
It is. But at the same time, that's not going to motivate you, because then in your head, you're never going to elevate yourself
at all.
Because you're not getting any constructive criticism. Matter of fact, the time that you will get it, you're going to get pissed off about it because your 10 friends told you that stuff was fire.
Mm-hmm. Strangers is the most honest people.
Yeah.
The internet is the most honest. I mean, that's the most honesty you're going to probably find. You definitely don't want a yes man around you. Because you're not, like you said, you're not going to get nowhere.
Yeah,
and if I hurt your feelings by telling you the truth and trying to help you be better, then I don't want to be around you.
All right. Well, let's talk about your music that you have out. You started putting music under the Star Dior name before your recent name change back in 2020. You released Hard Knock Life. What was the creative process behind that?
I was singing Jay-Z song, the Hard Knock Life part, and I was like, let me see if I can remake that, and that's just how that started. I like listening to old school stuff and see if I can sample stuff, and that's kind of how that song came about, was me wanting to sample that.
And then you also released Say that year.
Say what you need to say.
What was the process behind that?
I ain't gonna lie, I was mad. I was mad, and somebody had made me mad earlier that day, and I just went in the studio and I just start singing it. Like, if I'm mad, if you make me mad, you make me sad, or if I just talk to one of my friends or anybody, I can go in the studio and just freestyle a song. Like, that song was completely freestyle. And then we just had to bring the hook back around, and I'll just say something. But when I'm in my feelings is when I make the best songs. So sometimes I like talking to people, hearing people's story, because then as soon as I get out the phone, I can write something to what I just heard. So that's pretty much how that song came about. I was like super pissed about something, and I went in there and just started singing it.
And then you released Drip. What was the process behind Drip? Because this was also the first two songs you had. That's like a headshot type photo for the covers, and this one you actually have like a drawing of the with lip gloss melting.
I was trying to do a twerk song for the ladies. Cause I'm gonna blame Megan Thee Stallion. I like to see ladies twerk. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't know. I think it should be like awards you could get for twerking. Cause everybody just twerk different. Like, so I wanted to make a twerk song, and I had got my friend Queen on there, and Kylie Kisses. And then we had just ended up recording it and like throwing it out there. We were supposed to do the video, but a lot of stuff didn't fall through at the time. But I think we're gonna try to do the video soon. But I just wanted to see women twerk. I ain't gonna lie to you. Especially to your song. When you see women twerk to your song, you're like, oh, it just hit different.
And then this year, before the name change, you released Runaway, the radio edit.
Yeah.
What was the process behind that, and what made you take the route of releasing it as a radio edit?
My fiance. So my fiance, I call him like a P. Diddy. He acts like P. Diddy, and he would get two artists together like P. Diddy. So he got me and his friend together, and we kind of went in the studio and just kind of put that together based off how his friends sound. And then that's pretty much how we came up with it, which I think was a dope collaboration. I'm not even gonna lie.
When you're writing music, how often do you get faced with like writer's block?
A lot. I just did that the other day at the studio. Once I get the chorus and the verse, the first verse down, once I get my feelings on paper and then the chorus, most of all my feelings get put down the first verse. So after that, I'll be stuck. So I have to leave or go do something and then talk on the phone, and then I can write. But I get writer block a lot. I think that's one of my biggest things I struggle with as an artist too, because if I can't finish a song, I always want to throw a feature on there. And my team is trying to get me out of that. Like, Star, you can't throw a feature on everything. So I'm trying to learn how I can complete a song if I'm mad, sad, like if I really got a lot of emotions. But if I'm having a cool day and you want me to record a sad song, it ain't gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen.
For your YouTube, the first thing you released under the Star-Lord name, you had, well, right after you uploaded it, you changed your name to Star-Lord. But the acoustic cover you did that we played in the intro, what made you decide to choose the songs that you did to do that mashup?
They're my favorite songs. Of course, my brother Coogee. I always been a fan of my brother and his music. Just watching him work and be creative in the studio sometimes like inspire me. And King and Chop, that was one of my favorite songs by them. So I was like, I always told them, like, even when I get famous, I'm gonna sing that song, because that's the song I'll be like, I wish I was in there with y'all and I wrote that song. So that's how that came about. And then Rihanna, them like my favorite songs, honestly. So I just put them together and just made a cover to them.
It's well done.
Thank you.
I'm a huge Chop fan, and King.
Yes, they are amazing.
I get King shit all the time when I see him commenting on stuff. I tell him
when
I
I
need
first
another
did
album.
that, Chop was like, "That is not our song." I'm like, "Yes, this." He said, "You did it way better than us." I was like, "I just love that song." They be like, "Star, that song is old." I'm like, "I don't care how old it is. I'm still gonna sing it."
My last question before I give you the floor. You recently did an interview with iRock TV. How did that come about?
Well, of course, that's my brother, my blood brother. So every time I ask him to get on the show, he do it. So it ain't hard for me to get. And they love seeing iRock on my channel. They love his honesty. They love his energy. So I had told him, I said, bro, I need you to do another interview. And every time I ask him to do something, he'll always support and do it. So I'm definitely going to have him on a new Pillow Talk. Because right now we're working on my set for Pillow Talk. Because it's not a podcast anymore. It's a TV show now that we turn it into. So he definitely going to be on there. But it's just I called him up and was like, I need you. And he pulled through like always.
I actually just realized I do have one more. You also recently did a video where you interviewed a transgender woman. What made you decide to do that interview?
I think that that's a conversation that a lot of people need to start having with their kids. That a lot of people need to start getting used to. I mean, whether people like it or not. I feel like, to me, I'm a big person on, if you not necessarily having sex with the person, why does it matter what somebody else is doing? Or if it don't affect you in no type of way, why does it matter? You know, some people will be like, well, I don't want my kids thinking that's okay. But it's a lot of stuff that's not okay that people don't take that serious, as far as even music or music videos. And it's just kind of like, you can bypass that. So it's just kind of like, start having them conversations with your children. And I think that I did that so people can get a light on transgender women, and especially the killings that's going on with transgender women. And I just am a strong believer in, like, let people be who they want to be. Like, and then the world will be so much happier, because you really got people out here killing themselves because they can't be who they want to be, because out of fear of being killed, or out of fear of, I mean, just a lot of stuff. And I feel like love is acceptance automatically. Like, if I love somebody, I'm accept, if that's your lane, if that's what you want to do, like, that's on you. So I feel like some people just needed to pay attention to that. And I did have some feedback when I had interviewed her on some people saying, like, I don't think you should put that on your platform. But it's just kind of like, if that's the world we live in, then it's kind of like, why not? So I'm glad that she, first of all, was brave to do it. And like, if you watch the video, she was talking about how it's not, she can't find a job just because she is a transgender. And I feel like it starts from the home. Like, teach your kids that there are people that want to be transgender. And just like you got to teach your kids about, you know, certain cops, or you got to teach your kids about drugs, or how you got to teach your kids about that, you need to teach your kids about how to treat or interact with transgender or people who love the same sex. So I'm huge on that. I tell my daughters them that all the time. Like, yes, you know, that's, you know, they asked me, like, when Nas asked, we just watched the MTV Awards. And it's like, why he got a dress on? Why he gotta, because I feel like you gotta tell your kids, because if you don't tell them, they gonna go on the internet, and the internet can tell them the wrong stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
So you gotta have that conversation with your kids. If they ask you, don't be like, oh, be quiet, they ain't got nothing to do with you. No, tell them, because if they go on that internet and look, you don't know who. Don't let the internet raise your kids. I'm a strong believer in that. If my daughters and them have a question, they was old enough to ask, they old enough to know.
Yeah, that's kind of my take on it. Like, when I've had discussions of the LGBTQ plus community, and like, people don't understand like why I don't have any problems with it, because at the end of the day, what they're doing
has nothing
doesn't
to do with
affect me
right.
the slightest bit. So I don't see.
And I think people who get angry are people who probably battle it. I just don't understand it. Like, I don't understand, you know. And I did have some people, like, I had I wanted to do a podcast on this too, an episode where it's like, I done had a friend who got upset because a transgender really looked like a woman, and he was turned on by that, but he didn't know that it was a transgender, and got extremely upset. And that's where he said he feel like that's wrong. But it's just kind of like, what I think is unfair is, if I'm bisexual, so it's okay and it's acceptable if I like girls more so than if a man want to be a transgender. It's like, it's okay if a girl like girls, because it's like, that's every dude's dream. Like, they don't care.
Yeah,
so it's just kind of like, that don't make sense. Like, what? So I don't know. Like, that's something I really wanted to talk about this season on my show. And I really wanted to have a transgender on there, a straight man, a straight woman, and a bisexual woman, and just have the conversation. You know what I mean? So it's just like, that's just something that needs to be talked about. So I don't understand it, honestly. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. People will always find a reason to complain or bitch about the embarrassing
something.
thing. Nobody's ever happy in this life. Well, the floor is yours if you got anything you want to plug.
So Pillow Talk is definitely coming back. We are working on a set of Pillow Talk, and I'm definitely gonna have you on there. And I'm extremely excited about music. I'm just gonna focus on Pillow Talk and music. That's what I'm trying to narrow it down to is Pillow Talk and music. Y'all definitely can look for more content. Far as on my social media page, far as with the sex magazine. I'm just gonna be working like always. And I hope y'all stay tuned. And I'm excited for Pool Talk to come back because I got a lot of juicy episodes and stuff written down. So, and make sure y'all check him on there too, because he's gonna be on there. Y'all not just gonna see him behind the screen like this. He's gonna actually be on set. And I think it's gonna be fun because I want to put you, me, who else? Only Noise. Like I just want all of us to just come together and just like talk about the podcasting life and just about fearful conversations that some of us probably don't want to talk about or we don't give a fuck about talking about, but just like that type of thing because there's a lot of people reaching out about how to start a podcast.
Right.
I think your podcast is amazing. I think y'all keep up with I'll be finding artists off y'all podcast, so or off y'all page. I'll be like, okay, I think y'all got one girl I just seen, she kind of remind me of Megan.
Oh, the one I just posted today?
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm about to go check her music out.
Her name's Boy Toy. She actually followed me during an interview I did a few weeks back with a guy up in Cleveland named Suicide Holla, and I had reached out to her and said, if you want to do an interview or whatever, just let me know. And she reached back like instantly and was like, I would love to do one. So
yeah, let me know
like
because I love your platform because it just you don't really stick with the mainstream. You really go. I feel like y'all really go look at artists that people might miss, and it's just because they don't know about them or they ain't heard about them. Just depending on what city they in, and y'all bring that to light. So I definitely think that that's an amazing thing too. I definitely think you should keep going with these because it's definitely working for you.
Thank you. Yeah, she's I believe up in Cleveland. Like so you would be able to get a hold of her to easily get her on.
That's amazing. I said, okay, I love her music.
Yeah, I have her booked for, I want to say this week, actually. I have to look at the schedule off the top of my head, but I think it's later this week. And then I actually have another one in a couple weeks with another girl out of LA that, to me...
So have you done an interview? Has somebody interviewed you?
No, I have yet to be interviewed.
I'm going to be the first one. What?
Yeah.
And it's going to be on set.
But
what you be drinking? You like cold? What you like?
Like alcohol-wise or just like normal?
Yeah, alcohol-wise.
Usually do Jack and Coke.
All right. So make sure y'all catch him on Pool Talk. Sorry, I'm up here fiddling with stuff. This was amazing, though. This was fun.
Thank you. If you guys end up catching this on YouTube or on the timeline, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. All of Star's links will be in the description below on YouTube. You can find her Instagram will be linked. Her Facebook page will be linked. Her new YouTube channel will be linked. And her new Pillow Talk with Star YouTube will also be linked.
So we can run those numbers back.
We got to run those numbers up.
I want my bag back. Okay.
All right. I appreciate your time. And thanks so much for coming on.
Bye, y'all.
See ya.